Sorry, I haven't really been. Well, damn. Yeah, sorry, I haven't really been uploading the last 2 days, probably 3 days now. But honestly, that's because I've just been trying to really think of ideas, really. I don't want to say think of ideas, just like, I don't know. I've just been not as uploaded, if you know what I mean. But today is a very interesting subject. A perspective, if you will. We're just going to call it a perspective type video. What if social media and news outlets weren't a thing? How much would this affect our lives? And would this be a good thing? I feel like it personally would. And the reason I say that is because, simple as this. There's so much damn criticism on social media that's like, honestly, the amount of shit people can get away with saying on social media alone, or the amount of cyberbullying, or the amount of problems and fake personas that social media creates, like, these perfect looking models with their filters, or these, like, perfect bodybuilders, or these people living these great, fantastic lives, and there's just the some of us sitting back, like, what exactly is, this is interesting. But yeah, social media, to be honest, like, in all blunt honesty, like, imagine the world without it. Imagine you didn't have to worry about, like, everyone's so worried about being judged nowadays. The most judgmental shit usually comes from someone who, the most judgmental part of the world is simply on our phones, really, if we're gonna be bluntly honest. Just like social media, there's like so much criticism and so much fake news and all this bullshit. Especially, imagine without social media or news stations. We all know news stations give like these snobby point of views, like these absolute like people who it feels like they get paid to like say what they say half the time. Imagine what it would be like without them. You know what I mean? Like if we had a world where social media was just non-existent, it was just this thing that happened to be leeching in the background. Well, it makes you just kind of wonder a bit, I guess. Like, social media, be honest, it creates a lot of problems in people's lives. Be honest, versus putting every single bit of your life out there, people have, like, changed the perception of what they call friends. Instead of having friends you actually go see and hang out with in person, yeah, you have these online friends, it's great, you can meet a lot of new people and you don't have to worry, I guess, about I guess it's less awkward. I don't know. It brings out the social anxiety part of people. Be honest, like most people forget what it feels like nowadays to actually hang out with a friend rather than just video call them or just call somebody like that. Like if social media weren't here, here's what we wouldn't like. Here's what it'd be like if we didn't have social media. Say you woke up late and it was all gone. You wouldn't worry about having to post something. You wouldn't worry about what's on the news station because if they were non-existent, you wouldn't be as stressed out. I feel like. You're not worried about, oh, what's the next thing? What's that person think of me on the internet? Or, like, you wouldn't be so worried about every bit of. Like, when something happens, you wouldn't have to be, like, immediately worried about this road, especially if it doesn't concern you, per se. Like, everyone's so worried about what they look like, or, like, whose best friend they gotta talk to or hang out, or what they're gonna think, or like this and that, or how many views this equates, how many likes am I gonna get. We're not worried about what the next person looks like on the internet. In fact, we're all worried about ourselves and our own family and friends that we're worried about like what's on the internet and what people are going to think of us on there. That half the time people are always sharing this personal shit with people on the internet that sadly they don't know anything about that person unless they have an actual that type of internet connection. But sometimes you have like these people posting their shit, talking about their feelings, some deep personal shit to a bunch of random people they've actually never personally talked to before. And I don't mean just talk to in person, but like not really talk to at all, and yet they're posting it. It's just like, I, I, you know what I mean? It's just kind of, it's just like, why? We're just so focused on what the next person thinks of us online that we're not even focused on our own self opinion or like what our family or friends think, etc., etc. You get the point. But it's like, in reality, like how. I'm trying to think of a good way of wording this stuff, but yeah, you wouldn't be able to talk to your friends on the internet as much as you would. You would actually have to go over and hang out with your people, actually meet different people versus meeting them online. I feel like you would have a lot much better social interactions than people nowadays. People don't know what to say to each other because they're too busy talking to their friend about it online. Like, there's so much fake filters and stuff. There's so many comments. Hell, people are so worried what someone's gonna think of them online, and like, and then they worry, and they have this, and they're always worried about people what to say about them in person. And it's like it's because you've gotten used to like having all these people. It's not always true, but you have the people who are, you're gonna have the judgmental people online who are gonna have either some good shit to say about you or some downright, yeah, you don't want to hear that, like, why are they even saying that about me type shit. So you have basically, you have the shit that it's like, I don't even know the best way of putting this, to be entirely bluntly honest, but yeah, you have like, you're worrying about basically online, you worry about like what are the people thinking of you versus people that are actually in your life versus what they actually do think of you. People are like, and it's sad because when it comes to like when it comes to like theft and crimes and stuff, there's so much shit that can happen when you're posting every single thing you've done online. Say you posted like some expensive ass item like a car or like a new gaming system. It's cool and everything. It's whatever. It's a flex as they call it. But like, what if someone who is, not exactly there for like good intentions decides to take advantage of that because people actually post their fucking location too on social media, and sometimes they don't realize that shit. What if someone actually could do some actual harm to a person's stuff or that person in general because they see exactly everything they're doing online? It's like, it's kind of scary, if you will, in some sorts to really think about. Without news stations, for example, if we didn't have news stations, I feel like the road would be a lot less stressful. You know how much shit is happening on the news that's just not even, like, when on the news do you hear about anything good that actually happens to somebody? Like, for real, let's be bluntly honest, stream. When is there actually something good that happens? Like here in like my city, which I'm not gonna say out loud. Uh, like for example, like when's and here from the shit I've heard on the news, when's the okay? What's the best thing I've heard on the news lately from the stuff I did pay attention to? Be honest with you, not jack shit. Homicides, um, crimes, a few good donations here and there. Someone got sick. There was some case. There was a flooding. This is all this stuff that's been happening, and it's just so stressful to some people who watch on a daily basis. And if we didn't have the news, period, we would probably have our own feeling of, instead of what the news tells us really what to think. If we're gonna be bluntly honest, we would have our own like opinion on things, on life, on like all these politicians and all the shit that's happening. We would have our own perspective of view versus the view that they are telling us that is usually scripted. I mean, sometimes it is their opinion, but a lot of it's just like scripted shit that was written down. and there's a lot of these news outlets that are paid by the government on either side to say what they're supposed to say, and if they probably said something else, if they said something that was their own personal opinion that had nothing and correlate to what the government would want them to say, they would probably get fucking fired in a heartbeat, and that's just my opinion. And anyone here can agree with that. If they said this, what they wanted to say on the internet, they would probably get canceled. For real, like, it's just, honestly. News, the amount of shit they talk about on the news is just so stressful, to be honest, and, like, hearing about it on the news is just, like, a lot of the shit that doesn't even really correlate to us. Now, COVID or whatever, yeah, I get it, but you can leave online, leave online, maybe, I don't know, you just leave posts on, like, the news, like, or not news, Google. Like, if Google was more, like, open about stuff that's, like, more emergency shit versus what's happening with all these fucking celebrities, bro. Like, news is so infested with celebrities, it's like, damn, bro, do you have something that us people relate to, not what the next rich person is fighting for the next other rich person? Or there was a divorce, or there was a new kid, or, this fight broke out, or this drama happened. Sometimes I just want to go on Google and find out some random shit and that's usually what I even use it for. Just find out some random shit I just didn't even know about, which would be kind of cool. And if they're gonna have if they didn't have the news stations, the least they could do with Google, it was at least like have like emergency broadcast stations, like for like COVID or like monkeypox, which I'm not even gonna get into that shit. I've already did a video about that, and it pisses me off hearing about it. But like, for real, if we didn't have the news, I feel like this road would be so much less stressful than it already is. People wouldn't be worried about all this bullshit that really doesn't even affect us. And, like, let's let the let's let the community deal with, like, the situation itself than having to have everybody and their mother trying to figure out the situation on the news. Like, should we let these guys who have no correlation to our two separate lives from us talk about some subject that really doesn't even involve them versus a bunch of people in the community who the situation is actually happening to versus what they're saying about it on the news? Like, if news never existed and social media never existed, bro, we would be living in such a, maybe, I wouldn't say, it'd probably be judgmental. I mean, of course, there's always going to be that judge. There's always going to be that critic you run into. But we wouldn't be as social anxiety. I mean, yeah, people have it, but it wouldn't be nearly as people would be able to get used to. It wouldn't be nearly as bad for people because they wouldn't have to worry about this and that. They would be so used to talking to people in person, or like just having their closest people on their phone numbers and stuff and texting. They would have that, and they would be much. I feel like they would feel much better about their lives, if you will, because I don't know, news and social media just creates fucking these personas that nobody wants to. If you're someone like me, man, someone tells, oh, yo, dude, you were just happening on Fox? You think I'm gonna care? You think I'm gonna care what happens when a news guy said on Fox? Me caring about Fox is like, I don't even know. Me caring about Fox is it's like saying the newborn baby just came out to tell the world about what Joe Biden did next. That's the comparison here between let's compare what I would care about with Fox versus like me caring as much as what happens on the news is about as likely as a baby coming out and saying something about the president. So it's just not possible. It's just not something you would ever see happening with me, at least. Like, if people weren't so, I don't know. Like, I made a joke about my mother, and I love her to death. I was like, she said it would be awkward if we didn't have social media. We had our friends we'd go and see. And I put up my phone. I said, yeah, this isn't awkward. No, you know what? Next time someone says it's awkward having a conversation, or this awkward meeting up, I'm gonna pull out my phone and start using it bluntly in front of them, just because. Like, imagine that, Like, everyone's so worried about when they have to post the next picture of themselves, or the next selfie, or they have to update their fans, or their followers. It's just like, what the hell? like, honestly, it would just be, life would feel so much different in entirety. It'd feel so much less stressful. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, social media and news does take a toll on mental health for real. Because if someone who stays on social media 24/7, it's not a good thing for their health, honestly. Even though there's a lot of people who do it, but it can have a toll on your health. Me, I've even did the liberty of deleting freaking Instagram, Snapchat, even dating sites, just because I've deleted all of that shit. Because I'm like, you know what? I had this dream last night that was talking about this. What if the world had no social media? And like the dream was basically my phone got hacked, and then the internet. The only thing that was on social media was literally just memes, and anything about an opinion or some stupid shit was not allowed. Like, it would just get, like, you would get banned from the site or whatever. Now, if social media was just used to post memes, that would be the greatest thing ever. That would be the only, like, if I ever did feel like there would be a better, like, besides not having social media, if I ever did feel like if the social media could be completely flipped, I would just do it for the memes. That's my personal opinion. But other than that, like, for real, it's just, like, social media is in a fucking entirety. It's just such a waste of people's time, for real, but hell, what do I know? I deleted all that shit because I was just like, you know what? If I had this dream about something, just telling me, you know what, I'm gonna try going without it. And I honestly can say proudly, I can easily do that shit. You know what social media is to me, motherfuckers? My social media, YouTube. YouTube and video games. That's my media, if you will. Anything other than that, I I can't really say I care about. And if I did have media before, it was to talk to some friends, but we don't really even talk like that, so kind of deleted it. So, and yeah. Honestly, if you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe. If you didn't, dislike it. I don't really care. Honestly, it's your opinion, and I have my opinion. And need some side noise. If you need some side noise, or you need if you need some side noise or you want to watch some shitty gameplay of me getting wrecked the entire time, I'm that guy. Also, if I sound like I'm repeating the same old shit, once again, like I make most of these videos, it's usually in the morning, so excuse me if I'm not Mr. Albert Einstein in this situation. I know y'all don't really care anyways, and neither do I, so appreciate everyone who decides to stop by and watch. And my Twitch streams consist of me with no mic, which is great because my aux cord snapped, so I'm not gonna really have a headset, if you will. And you're gonna start hearing the gameplay in the background not from now on. So get used to that as well. But other than that, this is a perspective video. Next perspective should be a bit interesting. I'll post this tomorrow. I might do one. What if the world had no video games? Yeah. Other than that, this is Kizzy, your boy. I will catch you in another video. Deuces.